All right. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. This is Chat with a Grad, Bauman College's Candid Conversation series, spotlighting holistic chef and nutrition consultant graduates and the inspiring real-world paths that they are creating in wellness. My name is Carrie Bonfitto, and I am the Bauman College Culinary Program Manager, and I'm so happy to be your host today. We have other staff as well in our meeting, and we have a lot students as well, and we're going to be talking to one of our wonderful graduates, MaryAnn Marks. She's a Bauman College Holistic Nutrition Consultant graduate. She's also a functional medicine practitioner and the creator of Lab Smarts. And today we're going to chat with MaryAnn about her Bauman College training and how it shaped her path in wellness and what inspired her to create Smart Labs and how holistic nutrition professionals can really stay in scope and use blood work interpretation to support their careers. So we're going to hold kind of questions till the end, but we will have at least 15-20 minutes for questions. So feel free to put them in the chat as you're going along or note them down, and we'll get going. So with that, I am so pleased to show you MaryAnn. Hi, MaryAnn.
Hey, Carrie, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Hey, everyone. Thank you. I really appreciate this. It's so nice to be back. And I graduated Bowman Nutrition Consultant Program, the distance learning back in 2016. So it's 10 years now. And how cool is it to be back talking to everyone 10 years later?
Oh, wow, that's so wonderful, right? 10 years, a decade goes by so quickly.
So fast. Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Well, maybe you can tell us a little bit about, because we're going back in time to maybe right before Bowman. Like, what were you doing right before Bowman, and how did you find us?
Yeah, so I have a technology background, civil engineering degree, computer, programming and things like that. And but one of my last jobs was at Motorola Solutions, where I would work for the two-way radio company. But I would travel all around, going to different police departments, showing them things, educating them, and eating really badly and way overweight. And I just picked up this book one day that somebody gave me about what nutrition things they don't teach you, or something, like some secrets. And I learned all these things that I didn't know about eating healthy. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to go learn more about, eating healthy and all these different things. I didn't know the chemicals they were putting in our food and all these things. And so I just quit my job and went and I'm like, I have to find a place to go so I could get like an education and then go tell everybody about this. Because I just started, as I was working there, started eating healthy on my own, cutting out, like I was drinking Mountain Dew and eating Snickers. Like that's how bad I was eating.
Yeah.
So I just like did things on my own, and like just slowly lost weight, and just by doing things myself. And people are like, how did you do it? I'm like, well, I'm just eating better and looking all, just, I'm like, I have to go learn more. So I quit my corporate job, and I was searching for different schools out there. And I went through NANP, and they had this thing you could get on all the different nutrition schools, and I looked at that, and then I started looking at videos, and then I saw videos of Ed, and I just like totally connected with Ed, and I'm like, oh, I got to go here. Like I liked everything he was saying, and then so I signed up, and I just quit my job, and I just really loved it. Like I really felt like I have a good foundational knowledge of like even just anatomy, how the body works. As
Yeah.
as an engineer, I didn't learn any of that stuff. So it's not just, you don't just learn nutrition, you learn first how the body works and then how nutrition supports the body. So yeah, that's how
Well,
I kind of found
okay,
the.
well, so just for people watching, so Ed Bowman is the founder of Bowman College. And so he kind of put together our Eating for Health model and really just shaped the curriculum. And so he's a wonderful educator and does have a pretty fun personality as well. So we're super glad that you found him and
Yeah.
found him endearing as I did as well. Can I ask you just because you said that a book inspired you, and I'm kind of a book nerd too. I know we've got a lot of avid readers. Would you remember the name of the book that really
It was a guy who ended up going to jail for telling people about nutrition secrets. I forget his name, but it's what doctors don't tell you about whatever. Oh, I don't even remember the guy's name. And like it was, but it was like way before its time. And the guy, and but he was exposing all these things. Darn it, I don't remember the name.
That's
But that just like
maybe
changed my.
it's not published anymore. Anyways,
Yeah, right. I might have to look it up, but yeah. So then I went through Bauman, and then Ed was that's when Ed was there, and he would get on the calls, and then he would mention NANP, National Association for Nutrition Professionals, and how we have a community, and so. I went to my very first one was in 2015. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta meet Ed. I want to be now in the community of people just like me. And so I was so happy that I went. I met Ed, I met Mira for the first time. We spent hours talking. And I just love that. That like helped, solidify me in this new career path of knowing that I had that community too to fall back on.
so it was finding that those like-minded people, right? That
Yeah.
you could really feel like they understood your journey with
Yeah.
everything that you were talking about. So that can be really, really important. I'm so cool to hear that.
Yeah,
So
and I met people from students at Bowman at the conference, and then we started a little study group. So it's always really good to, get out there and connect and meet people, and then you can, grow your community and learn from each other, and you don't feel so alone sitting out, just here at home in front of this computer all the time.
well, and so you said you were learning, you were already had that background kind of in tech. And so was this your first step? Was Bowman your first step kind of into functional medicine and that
Yeah,
type of
very
thing?
first. Yeah, I learned all these things, but this is my first official thing where I went to learn something. And so I loved it. Like I was treating it like, college. Like I would write all these papers. Like, my mentor was Erin Liver. She's amazing. She was like, "Yo, this is great." And I just love this stuff. But then it was the nutritional assessment module. I think it was in the therapeutic session. I'm not even sure how everything's organized these days, but they mentioned blood work there. And then I just like loved it. So that's what sparked everything for me is, mentioning blood work in the nutrition module. Then I started nutritional assessment. I started making my own spreadsheet like a lot of people do. But then I started automating it and I'm like, I think I need to make this into a software to help us, to interpret blood work functionally. And so I've been doing that ever since 2018.
Did you use your nutrition consulting? So you graduated with the nutrition consulting credential,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
it sounds like you were still involved with NAMP.
Yeah. Well, I started seeing clients and and realized, I really liked looking at their labs. And so I was mainly just trying to like kind of do that and then, recommend the clients to go see other practitioner friends of mine. And then I would do my practitioner friends, I would help them with the blood work. And I'm like, I just want to like focus on the blood work and helping make something that my practitioner colleagues could use to make it easier for them to use so I could help clients. I just knew that seeing clients, and that's the thing, it's a great education, but you don't have to end up seeing clients. Like your path could be, you could take a different path. You could try it out and see, but like, so, I didn't know if I was ever going to use my tech background again going into nutrition, but then, I combined the two together, and that's one of the things I want to share with the students. Like you don't have to go on this one set path, and start your own business. It's really hard to get out there, start your own business, do your own marketing, maybe start out working for somebody else first and doing things that you like or that you already have expertise in and kind of integrating them both. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a little advice,
Well,
career advice.
absolutely, right? So it's kind of like you said, you're taking your skill set, right? You evaluate what you like doing. And so as you were figuring out, okay, the blood work is something that's very interesting to you. Can you talk about that? Because that feels um, intimidating to a lot of people, I think, just to kind of be looking at all of those numbers and the spreadsheets and knowing the functional ranges and then knowing, right, because we're not doctors. What is
Yeah.
the scope of practice for a nutrition consultant looking at blood work?
Yeah. So, yeah, it can be intimidating. And even like, I just was a regular person coming into this and being introduced to blood work the very first time in the nutritional assessment. And I was like, nobody ever told me this. Why didn't everybody gets their blood work done. Why doesn't anybody tell them anything? Everybody hears the same thing. Oh, the doctor says everything looks normal. But if everybody knew a little bit about what their blood work, meant and understood, we could get so much more out of it. So, when I graduated, at the very end, there was a letter that Ed wrote. To us, like, when you go out there, make sure you stay in scope. Don't diagnose. Don't try to treat. Just so, and especially around blood work, that he said that. And I always took that to heart. That I want to make sure we don't get in trouble. But there's a lot of valuable information here in blood work that if you just say it in a way that you're pointing out imbalances in the body systems and not diagnosing, then it could be a real valuable tool for us non-licensed practitioners. And so that's how I make the software, where anything that is client facing, I make sure, I just added patterns around glucose regulation. And instead of saying even insulin resistance, because now that's in the ICD-10 codes, I say reduced insulin sensitivity. So anywhere that I could, say where the body systems and processes are out of balance, that's all we're just trying to point out, or point out different insufficiencies. Don't even say deficiencies, like just, things that we could point out that don't lean towards us, diagnosing, because we don't want to get in trouble for that, but they're still valuable information that we could share. And so that's what I try to do with software.
And there's like, so for people that are new to this, right? So as you get your blood work back, you can see it. That's something that you should be able to see your blood work from your doctor. And there's what we call like optimal ranges versus like the other things that the doctor is looking for is something that is more they can do something about, like, oh, we have a prescription that will help with this thing. And
Yeah.
until your ranges get to that level, there's not really anything, they don't have the tools to kind of talk about that or even tell you what to do about that. So you're kind of looking in that gray area, right? In between like optimal and
Yeah. So we
they
have
can
in
give
the
you
software,
medication.
yeah. So we have optimal ranges. And that's what I learned at Bauman, that there is this whole discipline in functional medicine around blood work interpretation called functional blood chemistry analysis, on how you look at blood work from a functional perspective, an optimal perspective. Because, like you said, Carrie, like the ranges on the LabCorp and Quest reports, they are very wide. They just represent 95% of the population tested at that lab, and the conventional medicine world only looks at those values if they're outside of that lab range, because then they can say, yeah, oh, your thyroid, your TSH is high, let's give you thyroid medication, or your cholesterol's high, let's give you a statin. But in our world, in functional medicine, holistic nutrition, we know that there's a tighter set of reference ranges that, for each marker that you want your values to fall into. And they vary by age, by sex, by elevation, by trimester pregnancy, by all these different things. So that's where I ended up taking my spreadsheet and saying that I had to turn this into software, because there are so many different ranges based on that client's unique traits, that you really can't do it in a spreadsheet. So that's one of the unique things that we do in the software, is adjust different reference ranges based on their bio individual traits, and then back up the optimal ranges by different studies. We use different life insurance companies like have different studies. Like in, when you want to try to get life insurance, they'll look at different markers and say, oh, if your marker is over this, which is a lot lower than the lab, then you might not get life insurance. So there's different studies out there that we look at where we want your clients' values to fall into.
And so now that so was that so you saw this gap as help, we were having trouble with this interpreting these functional ranges, so creating the software. Did you immediately do that, or did you get more education? Like, what was your next step?
Well, I started going to every functional blood chemistry course that I could find. I've been to maybe 15 different ones. So they're, just to learn from different practitioners how they interpret different labs. And so then I just started implementing, that. And that's where the software started always as I wanted to be unique and make sure that the reference ranges that you used were backed by different studies and applied uniquely to your client. And that's how it started out. And I've been evolved it since then where I'm trying to, I've always grouped markers in different sections that make sense to make it easier for you to translate, what markers relate to which body systems. And then I group them at a higher level to make interpretation even easier, different, groupings of different systems. So yeah, it helps practitioners, interpret blood work easier.
And so you have this amazing product, right? You were actually recognized with an award from the NAMP this last year. Can you
Yeah.
tell us, can you give us like a
Yeah.
little short
Um,
ex like ex explanation of that
yeah.
award?
I mean,
And
I've been going to HealCon. It's the NAMP's conference, like, since 2015. It's just one of the things I really look forward to every year to see my friends, Bev, Mira, everyone, where, again, like I was saying, just that community of people just like us who are trying to, move forward in the world, helping other people, live better, eat better. And what an honor. I mean, I was on the board. I love that organization. I was helping them out in different ways. And then last year, Mira nominated me for the award for this year, and I was really honored for that. Just because because my goal, and I've talked to hundreds of practitioners, and somebody asked me, what is your, what keeps you going? And it's like, I want to help practitioners stay in business so they could help more, clients be happy and healthy. And so if I can, do whatever I can to have people use my software to start a service or use it as a lead magnet or do something to help them sell their package, whatever I could do to help my colleagues like stay in business. And I know because it's really hard to, when we make these career shifts to stay in business. And so I don't know, I'm really happy that I was recognized for that though. Thank you.
well, and so your business is wonderful. And so I think a lot of people who, like you said, are making career shifts or just starting out in a career, we think of ourselves as, okay, entrepreneurial path could be really exciting. And you've taken that to heart. So what was your biggest challenge in taking your idea and moving it into a place of an actual business?
Well, challenge really financial. I mean, honestly, I've been using my retirement money that I've saved up over the years of working in my corporate job to fund my business. But I wanted to take the risk because I'm really passionate about this. And I know that, it'll pay off someday. And, having the support around me to help me, move this dream forward really is important too. So, having a good support system really helps. So, uh, yeah, that's kind of a financially, a lot of us experience it, leaving corporate job with our nice salary, and going into something different and, do what you can to, work with other people, support each other and don't try to do it all yourself because it's tough.
So it's wonderful that you have the support system as well. Do you have any, like, so who else are you working with? Any other partners or any other employees with your business, or is it really just you right now?
Well, I have a social media a person. Somebody helps me with my email, website. Um, Recently, I mean, I have a developer, but recently, I'm a techie too, and I have just discovered Claude Code. So I have integrated that into my code, and I can do anything right now. I feel like Superwoman. I have just added all these different features. I'm adding patterns like crazy. I'm working on thyroid interpretation patterns. And so the goal is to try to make everything more automated. I have somebody else helping me with research. Yeah, but I don't have full-time people, but yeah, like, contractors here and there. That's usually the best way, you know, to get people to help you out is, yeah, doing it that way. Um, I know Mira was my coach at one point, helping me out.
Well, and it sounds like it's a demanding job and a demanding business. So how do you do like work-life balance with what you're doing?
It almost like when you are doing something that you really love, like it. I don't know, the time flies and it's so much fun, and there's like, the balance is whatever it is. Like I stayed up, I put out a new release on Sunday night and I stayed up the whole entire night. I haven't done that since college, but I was so excited. Like I just had all this adrenaline, and like when you find stuff that you really love and are passionate about, you can find the time for it because it doesn't feel like work.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it sounds like you're getting into like kind of flow states
Yes.
when you're working.
Yeah. Yeah. I like
And
that feeling.
are
Yeah.
you feeding yourself well? Like what do you do to feed yourself?
Yes, yeah, I don't stay up like that all the time. Not really good yeah, I didn't learn that in school. Yeah, I do not eat in the morning. I try to do a little fast in the morning. But I cooked I go to the local farmer's market and I got a big beef heart. And so I cooked that the other day in the oven, and then I chopped that up, and like over several days I eat heart for lunch. I love heart. I mean, there's so much good, CoQ10 in a heart that gives me energy.
Wonderful. Yeah, the organ meats are so nutrient dense. I
Yeah.
think the Eskimos say that they're like the vegetables of, the countries that are too cold to grow anything.
Wow.
You can get like the nutrients from vegetables that from the organ meats. So they eat a lot of organ meats
Nice.
in those areas that are frozen all the time. Um, well, wonderful. I'm going to share the link to the business, and I think I'm going to open it up to questions because I know we have so many people in the audience that are just knowledgeable and curious. So, does anyone have any questions for MaryAnn? Mira?
Yeah, so I'm curious to, well, I have two questions for you. One is I'm curious what inspired you, because I do use your software, to dive into the whole elevation thing, how blood results are different at different elevations. And then the other question is, how do you choose what you dive into? Because how much your software has expanded from where you first started is really wonderful and brilliant. I'm just wondering, like,
Yeah.
what drives the choices?
Wow. Now I have a long list of markers that people want me to add. I'm doing research now on leptin, and that changes based on your BMI. So I've added height and weight, and I calculate the BMI in the software. So then when I add leptin, we could just adjust the ranges based on BMI. But I just started digging into like what kind of environmental or individual factors that impact the blood, and I came across that one. It's even recognized by the World Health Organization that your blood, you make more based on over 1,000 meters. You start making more red blood cells because there's less oxygen in the air. So that you really, and talking with practitioners who work with clients that, live in higher elevations and live in places like Denver. When you get their CBC back, you're always seeing their red blood cells, hemoglobin, hematocrit on the higher side, and you're thinking, oh, they're probably dehydrated. Well, you're really supposed to adjust those ranges upward because they're supposed to be making more, and then you can really apply the appropriate interpretation for them. So that's just one of many, like the pregnancy one, where I have different reference ranges for each trimester of pregnancy. That is like crazy. Like, and I'm working with midwives to show them that, they could use this to really, because when pregnant women get their blood work back from LabCorp, it's like all high, low, and they're like, oh my gosh, my everything's out. And then they put it in the software and everything normalizes. It's into the green. It's like, yeah, you're supposed to have low red blood cells because your vessels expand in pregnancy and they fill up with water. And so you're not anemic. It's supposed to look like that. So that's just another one. I could just keep going on and on. I'll let more questions come in.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks, Mira.
I love that. I think there's so many other those lab ranges, like you said. For me, thyroid is very personal, right? And that was something where, my numbers were normal and until you run the TPO, and then it's like that's
Yeah.
an
Hmm.
insane number, but I had to beg my doctor to even run that for me.
Right. And then you get them to run it, and then they don't know what to do with it anyway because they're not taught to address antibodies to the thyroid. So, that's where we come in. We can help people with that. And also, right now, a lot of people are going, there's a lot of direct to consumer lab companies popping up like Function Health. And, consumers want to go get their own blood work done, but they're going to get it and then they don't know really what to do with it or how to interpret it. So they end up coming to practitioners who use my software and then they upload the Function Health report in there and then really explain blood work to them. So it's really, even though there's all these direct to consumer labs out there, consumers really don't know how to interpret the lab, so that's where you could come in and use the software and help them bridge that gap.
So are there recommendations, like food recommendations and diet recommendations coming out of there, or how do you like bridge that scope of practice recommendation? Because in some states, I know it's challenging, and even like uh, prescribing a diet can even be out of
Yeah,
scope.
right. Yeah, I mean, we just put, I don't even there's a lot of information I give the practitioner within the software that doesn't show up on the report. I leave it to the practitioner to decide what they want to share because blood work is just one piece of the data that you're collecting on that client. You're collecting their diet and lifestyle, their medical history, all these other things with their blood work, and then you're, assessing it all together and outputting it in your own way. But giving them that blood work report, summarizing it in some way with other summary report, but knowing that whatever's on that report is like non-diagnostic, so there's no, nothing that you'll get in trouble for.
That's reassuring.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a question?
I have a question. As I'm a student, I'm a new student.
Oh,
I was enjoying listening to your conversation. As far as pricing, when you're working with clients, is it like a monthly fee or how do you work with your clients with the pricing?
So the software is for practitioners, so you can
Mhm.
buy 3 tests at a time. You can do monthly, you could do yearly. Just starting out, you get 2 tests for free, and you could try it out for free. And then as you go, if you're going slowly, just add tests at a time. So one client's lab core report is one
Mhm.
one test.
Also, it's one to one for like that. Oh, okay.
I have about 130 different blood markers in the system now.
Oh, wow. Interesting. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I
MaryAnn,
mean,
are you still consulting individually with people, or are you full time on the business?
yeah, I'm full time on the business. I do stuff for free for family and things like that and good friends, but no, yeah, I don't work with clients.
Right. And that's so there's so many different paths, like you were saying,
Yeah.
right? It can be the one-on-one client path, or you can use this information that you're getting in the course and seeing what it inspires you.
Yeah, and I have practitioners using the software as a lead magnet with tests to say, hey, you have, whatever this symptom. Well, have you gotten the right tests and have you, has anybody looked at it correctly or whatever? Or I have people that use the software to say, just, hey, give me your most recent lab. I'll put it in here and show you what some things that your doctor, not really saying that, but your doctor never showed you, no one ever pointed out, and then use that just as a way to then on a sales call kind of like say, well, look at these things you might want to work with me. Here are my packages. So you could use it as a way to, as a service or to help you get new clients. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a really good tool. Like that's a great uh, idea, right? Because it's what is it that a lot of people think, well, I've got the food piece figured out, right? As a person, or maybe, they feel like they can study that on their own, but it's taking all of that holistic piece, right? So the food is part of it, but it's the lifestyle and it's maybe the things that they can't see um,
Yeah.
that are really important to be putting into that whole picture.
Yeah.
Sandy.
Hey, Sandy.
Hi. Excuse me. Hi, I'll unmute. I couldn't find that little icon for raising your hand, so
Oh,
I,
we
I
saw
do
you.
have a question.
Yeah.
Starting out as a new grad, how does let me word this properly. How does your Lab Smart works for clients like for us, like we don't have any prior blood and chemistry training? So is the interpretation like kind of easy for us too? Because where we don't have any kind of training, or will we need to take a blood and chemistry course first before
You, are
utilizing your
you, yeah.
platform?
Did you get through the nutritional assessment part of the modules yet, where they touch on blood work?
I am actually in the therapeutic nutrition part right now, but I don't think there's
Yeah.
any blood work um,
Yeah, I
that
don't
is
know.
being offered. I think that's something we have to take separate after.
I think they touch on it a little bit, but I would advise that go somewhere and learn a little more, take a course in it just to learn. I am going to work on my own course that free with the software, but but I'm trying to make it easy enough for people, to interpret it without having a lot of knowledge about it, but you really kind of should if you're going to advise
I
clients
agree.
on,
Yes, I do agree.
know,
I was looking at Brian Walsh. I don't know if there's a course that he
that is
offers
my
where.
favorite course that I've ever taken because he was the one of the
Mhm.
first ones who, and one of the only ones who has shown backed up different ranges with studies, and that gave me the idea to back up my ranges with all different studies. So yeah, that course is really good. He
Okay.
teaches you also the physiology behind the markers. Like what is uric acid? Yeah, I mean, it's a breakdown product of protein, metabolism, like and shows you the different like physiology. So that is a good one.
Yeah, it's on my to-do list, but
Yeah.
on
Right.
my to-do
In your
list.
spare time, right.
Yeah. One more quick question. I'm sorry. Let me see if I thought I took my notes. Did you find it challenging? First of all, did you work with clients upon graduating, or you went straight into your passion for the
I
lab
did,
and
yeah, I did work with clients. I had a handful, really not many,
Mhm.
because also, I have a problem charging people.
So did you find that challenging working with those clients without the tr blood and lab interpretation?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I was doing my first clients interpreting their blood work with my spreadsheet, and it was complicated, and I've
Mhm.
spent a lot of time doing it. Yeah. It's worth it to try to take on some clients. Try to find them locally too. Like as I talk to different practitioners around, like the successful ones really aren't even on social media. they're
I'm not
finding
on
their
social
clients.
media, but I know I have to do something about that.
Yeah. But
Otherwise
they're
I.
finding their clients locally, like
Mhm.
partner up with some local practitioners who do other things, chiropractors or functional medicine doctors or whatever. And so a lot of the more successful ones are doing things locally, being like referred to each other because you could get sucked into the social media trap and, with everybody else out there and, spend a lot of time and not find clients from it. So if there's a way that you could find clients through referrals and getting out there doing like talks in your neighborhood even, that's the best way to go.
Okay, thank you.
I love that advice, MaryAnn. Just the more you can just engage with people that are in your community,
Yeah.
local. There's tons of organizations that will let you give talks or meet with their members, especially
Yeah.
if you're I'm a chef, so and a nutrition consultant, but bringing that little bit of a cooking demo, feeding
Yeah.
people a little bit, that
Mhm.
opens so many doors. I
Mhm.
know that for the nutrition consultant program, you also have to do a cooking demo, right? And have that real experience with the food,
Yeah.
um, and talking to people. It can be so beneficial.
Do you still do a practicum at the end where like I had to do, 10 years ago where I had to get it, I did it in my neighborhood little clubhouse where I found neighbors. I put a flyer up and got people to come to my nutrition class, like a 6 week long or whatever. And if you just do that in your neighborhood, you can find clients that way. But yeah.
And I love that. So, MaryAnn, you're at a level that is pretty advanced, right? You graduated 10 years ago. You've been working on this software. You have the tech background. So you paired it with something that you were already kind of had a passion for. Um, and so I think that is a good takeaway from this. It's not trying to do something that is not within your skills, right? Everybody has different skill sets and different ways they approach business and working with people. And so I love that you've taken something that you feel so passionate about. I mean, we can see it when you're talking and you're like getting frenetic about it. And it's just like, wow, she loves this.
Yeah.
You love it. And I think if you have something that you feel like that about,
Yeah.
with that you can tie in to this caretaking practice of helping people sort out their how they're feeding themselves and how they're nourishing themselves, you're going to be in such a place where you're going to be beaming like MaryAnn is.
Thank you, Carrie. Yeah. Find your passion, that's for sure. Yeah.
Do you have any like um strong suggestions for our current students or somebody watching this, like you're a lifelong learner, and so what have you learned along this path that you've chosen to take in wellness?
Yeah. What I learned is that we still don't know everything about the body. What I learned in school, there's all these other new diets that come out. There's all these other new things that we learn in science and everything. And you just have to go with the flow and say, yeah, that diet that I was recommended to that client a while back, that really wasn't the best one. We're learning all these new things. Like just keep learning because, and stay humble about it because we don't know everything and things change and and as I learn too more there emotion there's a huge emotional component to diseases and conditions and things. It's not just about the eating, and the eating is really important, but like people's mental states, if they have stuck emotions and different things that are holding them back, you could give them the best diets in the world. So that's why we have to take a holistic approach with people and not just focus on one area. And I'm as I learn, I'm learning more things outside of, I don't know, just keep learning. I don't know, I love to learn, and it's fun.
I
Yeah.
love seeing the hearts, and I
Yeah.
love the that you love to learn. So I have one final question. What are you reading right now? What are you learning right now? Is there something that you are finding really powerful?
I have my book over there by my bed is about sound therapy, of listening to different sounds and how impactful those sounds can be to your body, because we're all made up of, energy and frequencies, and and sounds are important. So I'm trying, even though I'm in the in the blood, it's like, the blood is just a mirror of our energetic components of our, things going on around us. So yeah, it's body, mind, spirit, yeah, all of it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so, so much for being here, and we so appreciate you taking your time. Oh, Bev.
And Fahima has a question
I
too.
think Fahima had a question.
Yeah, Marianne, I love your energy. I love your energy. It gives us a lot of like you transfer energy to me actually.
Thank
I
you.
love it. And it was really nice to see you in person in Helicon.
Yeah.
And from the other side, I want to know, the field test you went through, especially the lab. If if a nutritionist like a new graduate, I'm still a student, hopefully graduate the next few couple of months. And how open are you if a person interested in this way that you try help her to
I do, yes, I help. So that's one of the things I do is I spend a lot of time on the phone with practitioners on Zoom, helping people look at labs, understanding things. Like, I'm one of the greatest things that I can do is give back. Like, that's the way I give back. And I don't charge him, like, and he's like, well, what do you charge? I'm like, no, let's just set up a meeting. I'll talk with you. Let's review stuff. I'm happy to, meet with anybody. I want to help, especially my Bowman, fellow Bowmanites, uh,
Perfect. I'm so
yeah,
happy. Hopefully,
reach
in the
out to me.
I really love to. I have thousands of questions, but shortage of time doesn't let me to ask. But I really would like to have after when sometimes to have one-on-one Zoom and talk a little
Sure.
bit
That
and
sounds
ask
good.
my question if it is okay for you.
Sure. Yeah, reach out to me.
Thank you so much. You're great.
Thank you.
Anyone else that I missed? No. Okay. Well, thank you so, so much for being here, MaryAnn,
Thank you.
and just being part of our community at Bowman College. And we are so grateful to have you. I
Thank
hope
you.
I hope everyone has a really, really wonderful rest of their day.
Me too. All right. Appreciate everyone. You know how to get a hold of me. Bye.
This was great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mira. Good